Hello everyone. Today we are welcoming one of the people who has worked for the development of the Canadian soccer and especially in the Atlantic region during the past decade. He is currently the executive director and the provincial technical development manager of Soccer NB, Younes Bouida. How are you, Younes?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me here in your show, and I'm very glad to be here and trying to give you a little bit more information about soccer here in Atlantic Canada.
So thank you for accepting our invitation for this interview. We have quite a few topics that we want to go through with you, but at first we would just like to start with the beginning, I would say. So we just want you to, if you can elaborate on how you fell in love with soccer, I would say football in general.
I grew up in Casablanca in Morocco, and soccer there is very popular. So we grew up. I had the chance to have two of my uncles staying with us at home when they were going to university, and they were very young and very talented soccer players. And that was my first exposure to coaching, basically, because they were coaching me soccer, and it helped me a lot when I started to play a little bit more in the streets. I had a little bit more coaching, and then I started I fell in love with soccer, and also with the Athletic Club, which is a team in Casablanca. It's the best team in Morocco, and also we had the opportunity. I remember in '86 Morocco made it the second round of the World Cup, and that was a great experience. And back then I was 8 years old, and I think those are memories that always last and make us fall in love with the sports.
So you have a family background of soccer players too, or just
one of my uncles, he really played soccer at a very high level. He picked to basically study instead and became a professor of physics, but he was a really good soccer player and played at a very good level. So I got the opportunity to play with him when I was young, and it helped me, and I became goalkeeper because he used to kick the ball at me, and I guess that's how I became a good goalkeeper.
So as you were growing up, which player were you looking up to when you were learning how to play soccer?
I will not say that I had one specific player. We had a lot of players, in the 80s and beginning of the 90s. We had a lot of good soccer players. Me personally, I was more a keeper, so I liked a few keepers there. Like Schmeichel, like other keepers in Morocco, like Zaki, and other really good goalkeepers that we got all inspired by, and we always try to watch the games and see what they do and how they position themselves, and we're basically coaching ourselves back then, and trying to learn from them. And I had the opportunity to watch the games every single weekend almost in the Mohammed V stadium in Casablanca, Stade d'Honneur, and it's always a great experience because I started to go there when I was 10 years old. Every weekend there, I will go with a group of friends. I was playing with the club, so I had a card, so I was kind of going there for free with that card. So I took benefits of that, and basically that's how we always like some players. When we follow them, we see them on the field, and that was great. Yeah,
that was a great way of learning, and I can relate to that as well. So how long have you been in Canada? Since you say that you were in Casablanca, in Morocco, right?
Yes.
So how long have you been in Canada?
I've been in Canada when I came in right after my high school. I came in '96. It was really a tough decision because back then my purpose was basically my goal was to make it to the first team with the Athletic Club and be a goalkeeper, and so it was really difficult. I mean, we came here. We said, "Oh, there's maybe an opportunity to still play soccer," and So that's how I came here. So it's been now 24 years that I've been here in Canada, and I've seen a lot of things and gained a lot of experience in this beautiful country.
So your first arrival in Canada was in Nouveau-Brunswick, Moncton? Or?
No, I came first in Montreal in 96, and we had to do 1 year, a transition year it's called. So, and at that time I got some contacts with Montreal Impact. I went for a trial with the Montreal Impact. It was a little bit difficult because I was going to École Polytechnique after, and it was really difficult because back then they wanted to train twice per day, and it was very difficult as an 18 years old to play with pro players. Some of them were playing national team. So it was quite a learning curve in a new country, taking care of yourself at 18 years old, away from family. So it was a great experience, and that's it helped me, gain a lot of skills, life skills for later on. So, and then after that, I came here in Moncton in 97, 98 in the winter. It was quite a shock when I came first here because Moncton back then was very small, and I was in the middle of the winter too. But I went to University of Moncton, and it was University of Moncton was. I did my degree in mechanical engineering. It was a really good school and a good environment. And I spent another, I think, 4 years or 4 or 5 years in here before going back to Morocco. Yeah.
So during your time in Moncton, and you were studying mechanical engineering, you say?
Yes.
Like, did you play soccer as well?
So I did play soccer. Yeah, I did play soccer. The environment is not like what the program is right now. Back then, the program was just starting. Soccer was not as popular as hockey, for example. Like university had a good hockey program. It was a little bit of a shock at the start, but I was more focused on my studies. But I played soccer with university back then, and started doing my coaching degrees. Back then, I remember the first course I took in 99. I was interested in that, so I started to basically learn more, get more coaching degrees, and that's when I went back in 2003, 2004 in Morocco, and I started to coach in my former club. I got that opportunity. It was like a dream. So that experience here in Moncton helped me a lot. Yeah.
So you were more focused on willing to coach a team as like willing to play in a team?
Well, back then it's just like we had a team of international students in the summer, and first time I started to coach, I think I was like 19 or 20 years old, and was some older guys there, but they quickly saw that I had really a passion. I was very serious about that, so we were training every single day, and I was doing coaching courses at the same time, and I coached that team at the same time. So I was like applying everything that I was learning in my coaching courses, and so it helped me a lot, that experience. It was an enjoyable experience because that team was very multicultural team with a lot of backgrounds. I think at one time we had like 14 nationalities on that team, and it was really great. So it was really, I remember that as my first coaching, serious coaching experience. I coached before when I was in Morocco, believe it or not, because part of my experience was to coach when I was a teenager, coaching my friends in the neighborhood. We formed like a team, and that team was we had to buy jerseys. We had to we had to find a logo. And we were training. Basically, we would go and watch the pros because we were living 5 minutes from the biggest, two largest soccer clubs in Morocco. I'm 5 minutes walking distance from both clubs. And Wydad and Raja, yes. So basically, for me, I played in Wydad, but I used to walk and watch the pros, the top players training there with the coaches, and we tried to apply the same things with that, yes, and that was our first, and believe it or not, it's hard to believe because when I look at it, the first team that we created, I was like, I think I was like 11 or 12 years old. Yeah, and we went and we purchased some jerseys from a store, and we didn't have enough money to buy the full kit. So we said, can you give us just piece by piece, and we're gonna give you the money, and you can give us, and based on how much money we paid you, you gave us a certain number of jerseys, and he gave us that. The first time we had enough, we went and we booked a game with a second league club, which is like just close to Bouida and Raja. So we were like in very sports neighborhood basically. And I remember stamping the first logo on that jersey, and we. I remember always that when we did that first logo, it was our first experience stamping a logo, and we found the technique how to do that. And the logo, we had it also on the back here because we forgot to put like something in between. And we were very young back then. But the funny thing about this story is the fact that that team that we created was called it's called Nous, parle, and the logo was NB. Yeah.
So it's like the initial of the Nouveau-Brunswick.
Exactly, it's like initial of Nouveau-Brunswick, and that's sometimes you just say it just came like that. Was coincidence that, and I didn't think about that since I think I was here in New Brunswick and with soccer in New Brunswick for like 2-3 years, and I was back on a trip, and I remember my mom left some of the things when I was young in a suitcase and opening it, and then I saw that it was NB, so I completely forgot, so so that's a good story just to see how things are, and
So once you graduate from the mechanical engineering program, you say that you returned to Morocco to integrate the staff of the Bouida Athletic Club.
Yes, so what happened there is that I was looking for a job in engineering, but at the same time, since of course the Bouida Athletic Club is only 5 minutes walking distance from home, I go there, and that's my coaches. So that's the same coaches that used to coach me are still there. They're getting older. I was looking at that, and I felt like I can contribute in this. So I approached directly the president of the club. I didn't know him. I just went and say hi. And I had my resume with me, so I showed the resume. I felt like I can contribute to this. So he asked me to meet with the technical director the next morning, that he's going to tell him that. So I went and was busy there. And I remember talking to the technical director for about 3-4 hours and shared the passion of the game and on a lot of subjects. And and he became my mentor and helped me. And I became... I was just asking to be a volunteer because I was just basically trying to be a volunteer. But in a club like that, it's very hard to be coached as a volunteer. So they asked me, they're going to pay me, and that was good for me. And in 1 year, I was already like a coach. I was a technical coordinator. So I was the second, basically the assistant technical director. And also I was helping with all age groups in terms of physical preparation, and I was also helping with the first team, with the interaction with the first team of Bouida Athletic Club. So you want like a dream, Yes, yes. I was the youngest coach, basically. All the coaches there in the academy, they all either played the World Cup or like. It's like they are icons, So I'm the little guy, I'm the little guy and trying to, do the maximum work basically and help everybody. But I guess it took me just 1 year to basically have, confirm myself there and be useful for the clubs. And I guess it was an advantage because back then I was like 26 years old or something like that, and I was younger, so I was having a good. Hunger for the game, but also I was like, it was easier for me to connect, maybe different connection with the players. Okay, yeah. So I can relate to their challenge, and it was good. So the players were very close with players, and some of them right now they're playing in top leagues in Europe, and being professional, because as you know, in Wydad Athletic Club, all the players will become professional players. There is no doubt, no matter who the coaches are, the talent is just there. It's a top club, so, so it was really great to see many players playing the highest level of the game. But for me, it was like a dream. I was in New Brunswick and doing studies and coaching international players, and it was just like basically just for fun. And all of a sudden, I was here with a club in a stadium of 80,000 people. So it was like a dream, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But after all this experience, I believe like 3 years for you to stay in Morocco with the Wydad Athletic Club, you came back to Nouveau-Brunswick, Moncton, to join the program of Soccer NB. Is that right?
Yes.
So how was it for this transition again, like leaving like the program of Athletic Club where I believe like you were a champion of the Moroccan League?
Yes, we were champions of Moroccan League many times, and also at the youth level, we're always champions, so for many age groups. Most of our players are national team players, playing at the highest level. So I decided to come back here in 2008. It was just a personal choice, but at the same time, I was at the same time coaching with the athletic club, almost full time, but also was working as an engineer, because the president of the club, he has many companies and just decided to invite me to play and join his companies and work as a director of engineering department there. It was a great experience too, to get to do both. But it's the same basically president, so it was like easier for me to do that. So it was a great experience. So I had decided to come back in 2008, and my plan was to go back with the athletic club because it was working for me very well there. But I just came here just for I was planning on 3 years and then I will go back. I got here and I fell in love with this province. I spent so much time here, and with the also people that gave me the opportunity to grow the game here and do something beautiful, to help the community, help the kids to become active. And I got married, have 3 kids, so I guess this is my home now. Yeah.
So from 2008 until now, you're still working with the Soccer NBA program.
Yes.
So it's been like 12 years.
Yes.
And from when you came back to Canada, when you joined the Soccer NBA program, until now, like, have you encountered difficulties to like reach the level where you are because of your origin, or come up the ladder? Or did you find any difficulty?
Oh, I mean, here, first of all, when I'm working in New Brunswick, so is the first important thing is to work in the grassroots level, So first thing with Soccer New Brunswick, I worked in different positions. So the first experience was a regional technical director. It was in northwest of the province, so it's like from Edmundston all the way to Woodstock. I was living in Grand Falls, so that was a different experience because very rewarding experience that I enjoyed myself doing because it was at the grassroots of the game. Going to small villages and making kids happy, and they were super happy to see me showing them some skills and learning things and implementing programs there in a very tough conditions because sometimes infrastructures are not there. In the winter time, I had to drive in the middle of the night all the time in winter storms. Every single night, and I come back, it's almost midnight at home because I live like away from where the programs are. So it was very rewarding, but a lot of hard work in there because on the weekends I used to also travel across the province for provincial programs. So it was very, as I said, enjoyed myself there. Same time learning the game at the grassroots level. It was quite a huge difference, because at one time you were, in big stadiums with players are pro and everything, and then you come all the way in a different environment, and people don't know where you were before. So it's kind of, you had to adjust. This is a new environment, and you have to get it done and can contribute in the community. It's rewarding, and you feel part of that, your new community, and it's great. So I get to meet with some wonderful people that helped me along the way. And for sure, after that, when I came here to Moncton, working on a provincial level, making everybody work together here in New Brunswick, because we have limited resources and we have to work together between all parts of the province. So that was a little bit of a challenge, trying to bring sports from a seasonal sport in the summer to make it a year round, because that's the only way you can improve players who aspire to play at the international level. There is no way around. You gotta improve, have more volume and more exposure for those players. And we're still working on that, because things like that, it's just, it's on the long term. So we're just planting the seeds right now, and I'm very confident that it's gonna come later on. But the first thing is that we have to make sure that the environment at the grassroots level is very good one, because players who are at 12 years old, when they come to provincial program, they need to have a level that will allow them to basically grow from there. So that's a challenge, working with clubs with wonderful volunteers, because we need volunteers are playing great, they're playing a big role in development of the players. We have to support those volunteers, but also have experts, other technical directors at the club level helping them, and other coaches, to make sure that the kids enjoy themselves and they stay in the game and they have the passion for the game. So that is what we're doing here. But for me personally, it's very rewarding. I love what I do. For sure, maybe later on I'll be doing something else with a pro or a team or something. It's always been a dream to coach at the pro level. But for now, we're just I love what I'm doing here. Yeah.
All the hard work that you've been doing start to pay now, with the partnership with the University of Moncton.
Yeah.
And now that in March 2019 you have been named head coach
Yes.
of the UDM soccer team as well.
Yes.
And you play your first university season as a head coach.
Yeah.
And how was it? What was the experience for you as a head coach for the university team?
Regarding, we had a beautiful, basically very good, creative and innovative partnership with the University of Moncton, Avec l'université. And the idea is at the end of the day, is to help the players having a pathway. So we're talking about French players. We're working also with English players to provide them with the same level of experience, a pathway. Here we have a stadium here in Moncton. That stadium deserves to have a really good team, a good program. It's a world-class environment, one of the best in the country. And I think we have to work together to provide a best program in there. And we're just right now planting the seed for a great program. And I think there is some great things that are going to happen there.
Inaugural season, and we saw 17 started to play. Just out of curiosity, which team was your favorite, I would say, among the 17 for the CPL?
To be honest with you, it's the Wonders, because they are just close to us here, and we get to go and see them. So that's our local team for now, and we're waiting to have a team here in Moncton maybe later on. But I think CPL had a great start. Now with COVID, it's a little bit difficult, but I think the league, achieve its goals from year one, creates the excitement in the soccer community, and I think there is a bright future for that league.
On parle en fait d'autres équipes qui vont s'ajouter en fait à la CPL.
like for CPL team here in Moncton, I think it's something possible, but it's just have the matter of attracting, investors that have the passion, of course, for the game, but they see the potential, to invest in a team here, in an organization here. I think we have a great city here, and a hub city where people can travel here, watch the games, and the stadium is there. I think there is a growing population of soccer fans, so I think to have 5, 6, 7,000 people games, it's something that can be achievable here in Moncton, and so it's just a matter of just like creating awareness. It's gonna be step by step maybe, and until we have somebody that is willing to believe in that project and invest in it. Yeah.
As well, like since we talk about actuality, like the pandemic, the COVID-19 that hit the world and that stopped almost, I would say, all the activities in the world, including soccer. And now we're slowly getting back into the game. And we saw that the Soccer NB had like a program, the Return to Play program in the Nouveau-Brunswick. Could you elaborate a little bit about this program for us?
Well, it's a return to play program. So basically, our operational plan based on the operational plan guide provided by the government of New Brunswick and health authorities. And the idea is we had to work with our clubs to engage them, in this process and to make sure that we have a safe environment. We make sure that we start bit by bit. So we had like basically a phase-in approach to the return to play. So the first phase will just play with no contact, just technical drills, focus on getting players, on a good physical fitness and physical condition, and also technically just go through all kind of technical, skills and all the. Also, we can work on tactical, elements too of the game without opposition. So that was the first thing basically for us, and also do fun games, challenges and things like that they can work on. So it creates more excitement on the players. Players always ask like that. And then from there we can go to play like some kind of 1v1, 2v2, 3v3s, and with limited basically contacts. Just trying to use like futsal or beach soccer rules that are limiting contacts. As you know, in futsal there's a hard floor, there are walls, so basically you cannot like push somebody, you cannot like so you have to limit contacts, and trying to implement that in soccer. And then hopefully, if everything goes well in phase 3, we'll be able to play 11 v11 like normal games, depending on age appropriate formats basically. So for the younger ones, could be 7v7 or 9v9 depending on the age and their stage of development. And then from there, we will have some rules. So, for example, we will not be able to have corners, because in corners, as you know, there's tight marking and all that. So it will be impossible. So we'll have to be creative about how we can play that. We're trying to make sure that the players will not touch the ball with their hands. So throw-ins will be kick-ins. Slide tackles will not be allowed, shoulder to shoulder. So basically, it's like playing the game for fun with friends. Growing up in other countries, when you play with your friends, of course, you cannot go too hard or push that. So you play for fun, and the idea about creating combinations, it's not about going and pushing somebody. So trying to have that mindset now, but the goal is just to get kids active and everybody enjoying the game, so which is good for their physical and mental health, and also always keep them in touch with their friends and teammates, and that's good for their social skills too. So, yeah.
So it's a slow process to like get back into the game, work on the stamina, the core, and everything, the skills.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as I was reading it, I saw that there were there were 4 phases to like get back into like a fully soccer game. I would say 11 versus 11. But I was wondering, like, what does it take to go from phase 1 to phase 2, phase 2, phase 3, phase 3, phase 4?
Right now, it's just there are 3 really phases, because the 4th one is the normal. You're going back to normal games, basically, and normal. So basically, right now the idea is just there is a time frame just to make sure if things are going well, then we can move to the next phase. So now we're moving on Monday to the phase 2, because we gave enough time. Everybody is feeling comfortable now with all the protocols being in place. So now we're moving to the second phase. So that will be good for the players, for the coaches, because it is more variety there. And also the restrictions are loosening up a little bit, and with the government now allowing to have more people, on a field or on a soccer infrastructure. But social distancing is key here, because everybody needs to keep social distancing, and also basically follow all the protocols that we put together in place. And it's been really wonderful for the first 2 weeks of return to play, because the clubs are doing a fantastic job. There's some great volunteers helping, in this moment, and we need volunteers in this difficult time to make it work. And you can see all the smiles every time we're on the field, and people are really happy to be back on the field. Yeah.
So let's talk about like the future project that Soccer NB was working on, let's say before the COVID-19, the way that it impacted those projects. If you are willing to elaborate a little bit about that as well.
Well, right now we're working on different projects. Of course, it's not just one project. Every single year we have new things that are being put in place. For sure, right now we're moving with a new website, with better use of social media, and also on our website we have more features, that will make life easier for our users. We have a Soccer NB app on Android and also on iOS. So now the idea is that we would like to have a YouTube channel and have some soccer shows and activities and later on. So we're working on this to improve our communication with our stakeholders and with our members, and of course we're working on also trying to enhance every project of soccer infrastructures. Soccer infrastructure is lacking a little bit here, especially for the indoor soccer infrastructure. We don't have a lot here in New Brunswick, so that is having something like other provinces will help us tremendously in the improvement of soccer in the province, and because that will basically help our players train year round, and also the type of drills and tactical elements of the game that they have to learn, that they can implement that when you have larger infrastructure in the winter time, and you don't have to wait for 6-7 months before you go back outdoors, and to be able to do that. So that is a key element if we want to move our players to the next level, and also for the younger ones and for all the recreational players, it is very important to allow them to play the game that they love. So yeah, soccer, for most people, they would love to play soccer in the winter, but there are other in the summer, but there are a lot of people that wants to play in the winter time too. So I think we need to start to move into that direction and have better soccer facilities. I think it's getting there, because I see that there is huge improvement from the time I've been here in the last 20 years. Now you can see that there's a huge improvement. I see what was happening in Montreal before. It wasn't like what it is right now, and I think here it's gonna come later on.
So as we're getting like toward the end of this interview, I would like to just play like a little game with you.
Yeah.
I would just give you like 2 choices, and you just give me the favorites.
Yes.
Of yours.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll try my best.
Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Real Madrid.
Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo.
It is difficult to answer to that one. I think, I think you cannot compare both. You know, it's. I like Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he's a good role model for young kids. But I think Messi, he is not comparable to anybody. Like he's something else. Yeah, another planet. Yeah.
Pogba, Kevin De Bruyne.
Pogba. Yeah.
Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola.
I'll surprise most of people, but I like Mourinho more.
Right.
Yeah.
So we are at the end of this interview, and we would like to thank you again for taking your time to answer those questions. And if you would like to just have a word of hand.
I just want to say thank you to you and your crew for this opportunity to speak about soccer in this province and our journey for soccer. So thank you for everything you're doing to help promote soccer more in this country. So thank you.
Follow the New Wave and subscribe. And you can follow as well Soccer NB on all the social media platforms.